Shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam
Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with a shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 10, entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. We're continuing our texts 4 and 5 the last few weeks, so we'll continue the purport. Read the verse again. Buddhir jnanam sammoha
Buddhir Jnanam Sammoha
shama satyam dhamma shama
Shama Satyam Dhamma Shama
sukham dukham bhavo bhavo
Sukham Dukham Bhavo Bhavo
bhayam cha bhayam eva cha
Bhayam Cha Bhayam Eva Cha
ahimsa samatha tushtas
Ahimsa Samatha Tustisht
tapodanam yasho yasha
Tapodanam Yasho Yasha
Avanti Bhava Bhutanam
Bhavanti Bhava Bhutanam
Mata Eva Pratagvidaha.
Mata Eva Prathagrita. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from the doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violent, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living being are created by me alone.
Everything comes from Krishna. That's what we need to realize.
Mm.
There's nothing other than Krishna.
Absolutely.
So the last one we discussed was samatha. So you can see that in the purport, samatha, beginning of one paragraph, equanimity. So the recommendation is not to be too attached to anything and not to be too detached, which means like hate. So usually either we're attracted to something or we're repulsed, which means hate something. But neither are very good because, like we said, whatever you're attached to or whatever you hate, you're going to be thinking about it. And if you're thinking about anything in the material world, that is going to lock you in to coming back again in the material world. You like the money and you like the woman or the opposite sex, you're going to have to come back. You hate the money or hate the opposite sex or the other religion or whatever, then you're going to be coming back. You know, if you hate dogs, you're going to have to come back. If you love dogs, you're going to have to come back. You know, so whatever you love or hate, you're going to be thinking about it. So instead, what is recommended is to just accept whatever is favorable to Krishna, whatever is pleasing to Krishna, accept that. If Krishna likes this, then I'll accept that. If Krishna doesn't like this, then I will reject that. So that's what's recommended. Instead of us being attached to things and hating things, we just do things according to what Krishna likes and avoid things what Krishna doesn't like. You know, what's favorable to Krishna is that we chant Hare Krishna. Okay, so Krishna wants us to chant Hare Krishna, so we'll do that. And Krishna doesn't want us to eat meat, take intoxication, illicit sex and gambling, so we won't do that. So it's not about what we like and what we don't like. It's more
It's
about, yep.
if somebody insulted you or praise you, samata means like you should not be thinking because it's praising or insulting to your body.
Mm,
You should not be taking any reaction. Samata is that like if
yep,
somebody praise you or insult you,
yep.
so you should be like a no reaction whatsoever. Is that what
Yeah,
samata is?
like neutral,
So
not reacting. Yeah, samatha. Yeah.
so it's if somebody insulted the Arjuna's wife Draupadi, he should have to be a samata or he has to fight.
No, I mean if someone insults Krishna or Krishna's devotee, like if your partner is Krishna's devotee or some other devotee, your guru or something, if someone insults your guru or another devotee, then you should get upset and try to protect them and so forth. And that's your duty to do that. That's your duty to do that. If you don't do that, if someone insults a devotee or Krishna and you don't react, then will Krishna be happy? No, Krishna won't be happy, you know. If you love someone, you can't tolerate any
Because
hurt to them.
insult will be only to the body, not to the soul, and you're not a body. Why do you feel insulted if somebody insults you or any devotee? You just like feel
But
like if you're not a body, why would you react? You react only if you think
yeah, we
it's
we
you.
wouldn't react if someone has a go at us, insults
Yeah,
us. But if
yeah.
someone insulted another devotee, then you may react. And even the body of a devotee is very sacred, very important, because it's being used in Krishna's service, being used in Krishna's service.
So the
Even
atheists,
if someone went to take away our own body, then does that mean you're
so,
not going to react? No, you should react. Like Prabhupada said, if someone attacked you with a gun, what would you do? Prabhupada said, I would take his gun and shoot him.
oh,
You know,
look,
so what? Huh?
only I can take a gun and shoot. Only Bruce Lee can do it. I'm sure Prabhupada wasn't a Bruce Lee.
Yeah, but the point is you have to try. It's
No,
your
the
duty to
thing is like
protect your body from some
it's
premature cause
if
of death.
like
You have a right.
my friend is a Ravan. He's atheist, and then
Hmm.
and Bhakti Mala is a devotee. If somebody insulted Ravan, I should not react. But if somebody insulted Bhakti Mala, I have to react. Is that like
But it
a
depends what are they doing? If they're just
oh,
saying
it's,
I don't like your nose or something, then you might not get to. But if someone physically attacked, then then you just have to see.
so I
So
have
it's
to
time, place, and circumstances.
okay.
Yeah. So it just depends on how big is the insult. There's three different levels also. There's an offense in your mind. It means even you think something bad about someone. And
Of
the
course.
next level is verbally. So
Yeah,
verbally
yeah.
you make some insult. And then
And
the worst is physically.
physically, yeah.
And there's an example of that in the scriptures to do with Bhrigu Muni was sent by the different sages and demigods got together to find out of the three main gods, who was the greatest between Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. So Bhrigu Muni was sent to test who was the greatest. And the criteria that he was using to test who was the greatest was tolerance. Because tolerance is a very good test for how great someone is, as measured, one way of measuring is by how tolerant they are. So Bhrigu Muni is not some small fry. He's one of the children of Lord Brahma. So Shiva is also come from Lord Brahma. He came from Lord Brahma's forehead between his eyes. So he's regarded as a son of Lord Brahma. And Bhrigu Muni is also a son of Lord Brahma. So Bhrigu went to his brother, Lord Shiva. Hey, brother, how's it going? Like that, Lord Shiva was very happy to see his brother Bhrigu. And Bhrigu ignored him. Bhrigu ignored him, not only ignored him, it's like he stepped back. I mean, he didn't hit him or anything, or he didn't say anything, but he just like, sort of in his mind, you could tell it was that kind of mood. You're like, don't touch me, like that. Because Shiva, of course, he would often be hanging out in a cemetery. He had like skulls around his neck. He was covered in ashes. So in one sense, he's not very clean looking, like that. So Bhrigu Muni like stepped back, like, don't come too close to me. So Shiva got angry. This is like an insult to him in his mind that he wasn't very happy to see his brother. And then, so that test was done. He didn't really pass the test. And then he went to his father, Lord Brahma. And the etiquette is that when you would come in to see your father, you should bow down and offer respect and some nice words of respect and everything like that. So Brughamuni didn't do that. He acted in a very disrespectful way to his father. He verbally said some things that I can't remember exactly what it was, but verbally he said some things that weren't very respectful. So his father, Lord Brahma, got angry, but because he's very intelligent also, he controlled his anger. But Brughamuni could see that his father did become angry, but he controlled it. Shiva was a step further. He couldn't control it. Actually his wife, Lord Shiva's wife, Sati, had to physically restrain his husband, or her husband, from like beating up his brother like that. So, and then Brughamuni went to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu was seated on his throne, and he was very happy to see Brughamuni come. So he stood up out of respect to receive Brughamuni, who's a great Brahmana. So Krishna's known to be very respectful to and protective of the Brahmanas. So he stood up to offer respect to Bhrigu, and then Bhrigu came right up and kicked him in the chest, which is the greatest offense. Like I said, in the mind, then verbal, and then physical. And then Vishnu, there was no trace of anger whatsoever. In fact, the opposite. He said, "Oh, my dear Bhrigu, sorry I didn't get up in time to receive you properly. And my hard chest must have hurt your soft foot. So here, let me massage your foot. Let me massage your foot." And he went to offer Bhrigu a seat and start to massage his feet and everything like that. So no trace of any anger whatsoever, and completely humble and tolerant. Completely humble and tolerant. But it's said from that time that Lakshmi, who is, Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan's wife, she was upset with the Brahmanas because one of the Brahmanas kicked her husband in the chest. So it's said that is the reason why Brahmanas are typically poor, because Lakshmi obviously is giving the wealth, right? So it said that is the reason why Brahmanas are poor, because they don't have any blessings from Lakshmi, because one of their descendants, Brughamuni, kicked her husband in the chest, like that. But Brughamuni went back to his assembly of great sages, and he gave the results. And number one success was with Vishnu, number two, Lord Brahma, and third was Lord Shiva in terms of their tolerance, like that. So, I mean, definitely we should be tolerant, but for ourselves. But if someone insults Krishna or one of Krishna's devotees, then we should not tolerate that. Then that's a bad sign. Krishna won't be happy. Like I said, if you love someone, you can't tolerate anything, harm coming to them. And a good example is Hanuman. He became angry like fire because Ravana took his master's wife away. Sita, Ram's wife, Sita, was taken by Ravana. So Hanuman became so intolerant. He could not tolerate. He was so angry. And he wanted to destroy them completely. The only reason why he didn't was because Lord Ram wanted to destroy them, like that. So that's a good example, So it depends. The
And
criteria.
I think, Peru, I think that sometimes, when we hear in the scriptures, like in the Shishastakam prayers, we we shouldn't expect respect for ourselves. We should offer respect. We should be more tolerant than a tree, or all these types of things. I think for me, I think it was a little bit dangerous because I've had experiences where I tried to implement that in with my service, but it got to a point where and try to see it as, oh, it's just my false ego. They're just affecting my false ego, and that's something I've got to work on. But when it gets to a point where somebody's behavior is abusive or something like that, I think that's when we should stand up for ourselves. And I think that sometimes can get sort of misconstrued in the scriptures a bit, because we're supposed to tolerate everything, but some people are not good people, even if they are devotees, and they want to destroy you, even if it is with their words. They can try and destroy you with like that. And I think that at those times is when we've got to separate and go, no, I need to stand up for myself now. I think, but there is so much good philosophy around not expecting respect. I think it's really nice. It's a really nice philosophy. But if you're a bit of a pushover anyway, like I am, then and you hear that, it can cause you to be a bit more of a pushover. So sometimes you have to draw a line and say, no, this is borderline abusive behavior. I've got to stand up for myself here.
Yeah, like I said, it's case by case scenario. If someone by accident spills tomato chutney on your sari, I wouldn't go and punch them in the face. But you just see, it was a mistake, and they didn't do it on purpose. But yeah, if someone tries to, create an obstacle in your service, that to take away your service like that and make it difficult, then you should react. And once again, it's the criteria. It's what's favorable to Krishna and what's not favorable to Krishna. That's the criteria where a devotee is going to react to that. Not, do I like it or I don't like it. So that we should be samatha. It's not about whether I like it or I don't like it, but more about, what would Krishna want me to do, or what Krishna doesn't want me to do, like that. So if anything is going to be an obstacle for our devotional service, like if it's something they're doing is affecting our health, physical health, mental health, someone's doing affecting that, then, we shouldn't tolerate that. Krishna won't want that to happen.
But Krishna watches everything. So if he's not favorable, you can step aside and then choose a different direction, because Krishna knows you and Krishna knows who's doing injustice to you. And whatever the person who will do and will pay back anyway. Krishna is the one decider. If somebody did injustice to me, rather than I react, I'll just step aside and just to choose a different direction. And Krishna knows my intention. Krishna knows the person who's hurting me is intention as well, and then he will do the justice accordingly. Why do I react? There's one thing is like a fight, and another thing is flight. You can choose flight, just choose that a different service of temple, whatever you're doing there, rather than react. And Krishna knows who's right, who's wrong anyway. Who am I to just judge anyone to protect myself or things like that?
You don't have to react like fight, but you could remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah, there's other ways to react.
Like,
but it's not, you just have to.
Mean like,
exactly.
You don't fight or you fight. It's like, I'm going to remove myself, or I'm not
situation.
I'm going to protect myself, or
to move that to that's that's what I mean.
There's different options.
Different option. Depend on the circumstances.
Like it's said in the scriptures that if someone insults Krishna, Bhagavan, or the devotee, there's three options. You can defeat them philosophically. So they're saying something insulting. So you can change their mind, philosophically. But if you're not able to change their mind philosophically. You know, they're blaspheming Krishna or Krishna's devotee or insulting. So you try to change their mind so they don't stop doing that. And if you can't do that, it said you can rip out their tongue. And it said that if you're not able to rip their tongue out, then you should leave that place. But what's not recommended in any situation is to just stay there and listen to them blaspheming Krishna or Krishna's devotees. That's never recommended. It's only you've got to change their mind so they stop blaspheming, or take their tongue out or leave, but not stay there and listen to it. I mean, if you love someone, are you going to just watch around and listen while they're being criticized, the person that you love? You would never do that. How could you do that? Or like break your heart. If it didn't break your heart, then you've got no heart. You know
What
what I'm
happened
saying?
what happened, there's two devotees in the temple, they fight. They both are devotees. It's like, they both are like in a temple pujari, one is senior, one is junior, whatever's there. And
Yeah.
they got a different beliefs and like different, do the things. And like, I've seen sort of a lot of them, they pujaris and all, they just fight each other and they both are devotees,
Yeah, so
And,
what would be recommended in that situation is to go and see the manager, the leader.
senior, yeah.
Go and see the leader and I'd tell them this is happening and can you deal with that? It's better we don't take sides. If you're just another regular temple devotee,
Yeah.
it's better you don't take sides, one side or another side.
Because
It's
both are
better
devotees.
either to just not interfere, or just go and see the leader would be the best.
Sure.
Especially if it's getting to a point where it's like the public are coming and you don't want the public's coming and they're seeing devotees fighting or whatever. That's not very good preaching. I mean, you invite people to the temple not so that they can watch devotees fight each other.
One day I was serving there at the temple, and then there was two devotees was fighting. One was Prasanatma Das Prabhuji, and there's one other guy that from Fiji, from Kamal, and then I was in the middle, and he was in the rice, and he was in the halwa, and they're fighting there, and then the Prasanatma just came, and there was a long queue, and I said, well, let's serve the prasadam. And so, well, we have to finish the fight first. And so Akalia Prabhu went away somewhere into a Cessnock. He said, well, if Kali is away, I'm the in charge, he was saying. And he says, who makes you to in charge? And like all that people in the line up, 50 people, like, they were looking at it, like fighting like a wild cat.
There was so many fights that day. That day there was like 4 fights, and we went to Cessnock to go for a picnic. And then we came and we got all these phone calls. You got to come back. There's everybody's fighting.
And I was there at distributing prasadam, and I said, you know what? There's a long queue there. Can we, put our ego aside and then do service? And no, we have to sort it out. This one first. Let the people wait. That was so funny. I got nothing. I was just looking at it. I said, oh, well.
And it's the problem because,
that
people not following these kind of, recommendations like we're reading in this verse, this purport, samatha. Where is the samatha? Where is the tolerance? Where is the humility?
He was giving the even Bhagavatam class on every day.
That's what I mean. We know everything, but we don't practice anything. So what's the point of that? It means you don't know anything. So these things are there for a reason. Why does Krishna tell us these things? Why does God need to come and tell us to be samatha? Because that's how you can have a peaceful way to live in the world. If you want to live like cats and dogs, well, you do whatever you like. And you go and kill each other, no problem. It's up to you. But if you want to live peaceful, then follow God's rules. Are there for a reason. Why is he telling us to be humble? Why is he telling us to be tolerant? Why is he telling us to respect other people? Why is he telling us not to expect respect for ourselves? Because that's the way you can live peacefully. If you don't want to follow that, and you want to be puffed up, and you want to be intolerant, you want to expect respect, and you don't respect anybody else, then it's going to be World War III all the time. Look at the situation in the world today. Everyone hates everyone else, and everyone's afraid of everyone else. Everyone's attacking everyone else. It's just crazy. Every day you look at the news, someone else is attacking someone else. It's crazy.
But it's
Families are killing each other now.
yeah.
I know,
So
even
many,
Yeah.
so many women and children are being killed.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And all this is because we don't follow God's rules. You know, God's rules are there as Krishna's giving us these rules for his benefit.
I
He's
think
playing his flute in the spiritual world. It doesn't affect him at all whether we're samatha, but
I
it's good for
think,
us if we follow these things.
fighting because of the ego. How dare he say to me like that? My position is high. Da, da, da. Ego, isn't it? Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
Putin's ego. There's the fighting the Ukraine. It's all ego.
Yeah. And because of this principle, you know, that we like
Yes.
something, we don't like something,
Yeah.
we're attached to this, we hate this, but it's
Yeah.
all based on the ego, on that
Yeah.
we think we're the body and we think I'm Christian, Hindu, Muslim, black or white, man or woman, and these things cause
then
all these
I was-
flare-ups.
I'm in the library. I was reading one book about the religion. I asked the lady with the religious books. She showed me one corner, and I seen some books of Dalai Lama. There's another religious. Do you know how many religion in the world? Do you know that?
No.
300, more than 300 religion in the world.
Hmm.
300, more than 300. I
Hmm.
said, oh my Lord, like, you know, it's just like a, anyway. So I just look at the religious books there and then see what's other perspective, you know, when did the Judaism came, when did the Islam came, when did the Buddhism came, and what's their pillars. I was just in the library, I said, oh, but there is no Bhagavad Gita here. Oh, what happened? Deepa messaged something. I'm waiting to let them in.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even notice. I'll tell her I didn't notice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Where is your
Sorry, have you
camera?
been waiting?
Sorry.
Have you been waiting there for a while? I didn't
Oh,
even
no, no,
notice. I
not-
was
not-
too busy talking.
Not for long. I just,
Not for long.
because I was on a coaching session and it
Okay.
finished not long ago. So I
Oh,
just
good.
jumped on.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, nice to have you join us. Oh,
Oh,
that's
my
good.
pleasure. Thank you for
It's
having
just
me.
like the good old days in the Bhakti tree on
Totally.
Saturday.
That's right.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, no, I have this. I love technology. It is so wonderful.
Mm.
I just finished a coaching session with somebody who's in Chennai in India.
Mm.
And before that, I was on a coaching practicum, and it's 4 of us. 3 of us are in Australia, 2 are in, I think, yeah, both of them are in Melbourne or Perth, Melbourne, Newcastle, and then the other 4th one is in Texas, the US. It's fascinating. It's really amazing.
Connecting everyone, yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Not only the technology, I like library because outside is 37 degrees. Library is beautiful, air conditioned.
It's
then
hot at
free,
my house.
yeah,
Very
and then
hot, yeah.
free air condition, and air condition, and then like free internet as well, and the books, and then free you charge your phone as
It's
well.
not free, no,
Only-
it's taxpayers' money there.
It's
But
I'm paying
it's
tax.
good,
That's
it's
fine.
good.
I think I should have to call town planner to put that like, you know, the filter water jug here, please. and not only that, and then some tulsi tea or some green tea or some, you know what I mean? So it's all right. I can put the request in with the, you know, petition with the 5,000 signature on it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Right. If Deepa can do Rath Yatra, I can do this.
Actually, that one, I don't take any credit, no. It was, I was just, as we
Yes.
say, the
You are a
instrument.
tool.
I was just the
Yes.
instrument. I was
Yes.
being,
Yes.
I just, I just walked the, yeah, just being
You know, you're dealing with the council and a
directed,
lot of things.
channeled.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I did anything, no.
But you get the stamina to do it again?
But that's the thing, Gulshan, what's her name? Jayashree has been asking a few times already.
Yes.
And I have also been saying, okay, but somehow this, whatever that walked me during that time, it is not coming. There's nothing.
Okay.
It is not happening.
Jagannath is not given a green light. If Jagannath gives a green light, you'll do it.
Exactly. So
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not
If it happens. That's
coming
okay.
through me for what. However,
That's
like
okay. So the person who did that wasn't you. Inside you was Jagannath did
Totally, it
that.
wasn't. It
Yes.
wasn't.
No, it's
I
combined.
just happened to be the instrument, no, the one that was
Like the
talking.
Prabhupada said, there was another hand comes that and write. I
Ah,
wasn't writing. So this is the thing. You had another, someone comes the deeper out of it to do all.
yeah.
But
Yes,
credit
correct.
goes to you. Pradeepa Subramaniam is the best.
Yeah, no, Jayashree Mataji has been asked a few times. She has already, every time I see her, which is not very often, but she always reminds me, and I always say yes, but
Yes.
then it
Okay,
doesn't.
I'll pray to Jagannath to,
Your turn,
give you.
Gulshan. Maybe it's coming through you now. You just be more
Okay.
aware and very
Okay. I
happen.
can do that
Or
because
maybe Bhakti Mala or something.
no, I've got a very good friend of mine. He works in the council. Now
Mm.
I'm staying to his place in the city. His name is Shane. I'm staying at his place because his wife went to the overseas.
See. That's what I'm thinking.
He's
Yeah.
working in the council, and I'll ask him whether to channel,
That's
and then
okay.
let's do it.
Hey, anyway, Abhay won't let me in the class anymore if because I entered now it's disrupted the whole classroom. So
No.
better
It's
continue.
okay.
So
You,
Deepa, where we're at, Deepa,
Yes.
we're continuing a long purport. So 10th chapter, text 4 and 5.
Okay.
And we're at the point of starting Tushti. Tushti means satisfaction. So we just finished Samatha last week. And now we're on Tushti.
you want me to read that?
Yeah.
Start reading. Okay. Satisfaction means that one should not eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activities. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. Tapas
Okay, we'll just
means,
stop there because then it's going on to another one. So satisfaction, this is very important. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do any activity. It's not saying that. But one shouldn't do unnecessary activities. So what does that mean, unnecessary activity? It means like, we all have to do some work to maintain our body. And traditionally it would be like 8 hours a day, right? From 9 to 5. So you do your duty, whether it's driving a taxi or you're a chef cooking or you're a cleaner or you're a pujari or whatever like that. So you put in your 8 hours of work to maintain your body or your family's bodies like that. But you shouldn't do more than that. You should be satisfied with whatever money you get or whatever it is out of that 8 hours work.
so
And you
indirectly,
shouldn't think that, oh, I want to work more and make more money and work more and work more money. And when I was young, people would work from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And I noticed as time went on, it became Saturday as well, working. And then half day Sunday, and then Sunday working, and then 8 till 6, and 7 till 7, and then night shift. And so basically a whole life is gone just because we're not satisfied and we want more and more. And then also it was just the husband working, and then that's not enough. Get the wife out working as well. And then as soon as the kids are old enough, get the kids out working as well. And it's like just everyone is just trying to get more and more and more. And the problem with that is there's no time for spiritual life, if that's the scenario. Because all the time is given just to make more and more money, because one's not satisfied. But if one learns to become satisfied with like what's mentioned, with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord, that is called satisfaction. So one sees that I put my honest work in, my honest duty. I've done my honest duty and put this work in. And whatever God arranges, I get as a return for that. I'm satisfied with that. That's God's grace has given me that to maintain my body, my family, and I'm satisfied with that. This is what God's quota. God has given me this quota to enjoy whatever I require, and I'm happy with that. But not that I want more and more and more and more and
that
more.
applies in the gulab jamun as well. If I get 2 or if I get a container, is a 12 in there? So once I get the container, then
As
I
many as you can eat, but not for takeaways.
Oh.
No takeaways allowed. Whatever you can eat in the
That is
Govardhan Puja,
that's
whatever you
problem.
can eat in the Sweet Hill Festival, Govardhan Puja, is okay, but not for takeaways.
This is
Because
it,
then you have to depend on what Krishna will give you tomorrow.
I
See,
reckon
you're
human.
depending on what
Yeah.
Krishna is giving you, but you
Yeah.
don't think about the future.
But in human nature is greedy. If greed doesn't happen,
So
then
that
there's
has
no
to be controlled. So that's what's recommended.
No,
The training is
it's-
satisfaction
Yeah, but
to
naked,
counteract that greed.
all the inventions happen because of the greed. If Thomas Edison would be happy in the candle light, he would not develop, invent the globe. It's a
But I
greed.
don't know if that's a bad thing. And I don't know. For me, right, I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean,
If
this
you
is not
satisfied in
speculation.
the
Well,
candle light,
it's,
he would not invent the globe.
but
If he's satisfied in the, like a candle fire, they're fine with that, and you cook in the wood fire or something like that. It's a greed. That's why the inventions happens. If they're not
but
satisfied
I
what they
don't
got.
know whether it's greed or not. It's to
Hmm.
me,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
To me,
100%.
it's
No, I would say there is a kind of dissatisfaction there. But and devotees shouldn't do that, but we can take advantage of these dissatisfied materialists, take advantage of their inventions. Like Deepa mentioned, this internet, we can connect people, so we can take advantage of that. These dissatisfied, greedy people take advantage of their inventions. They've spent their whole life to rack their brains to work out these things, which has really spoiled their life because they had no time
But it's
for God.
benefit us.
But benefiting us. So we're going to use that invention they've wasted their whole life for. We'll use that in God's service. So that there's a saying Prabhupada tells. The mouse works very hard to dig a hole to live in. And then the snake comes in there and eats the mouse and lives in the hole. So the snake didn't spend any effort to dig a hole, but it
well,
took
that's
advantage
lazy.
of them.
Lazy man. Uh,
So like that. So yeah, we don't want to waste our whole life digging a hole
Yeah.
like that. But we can
but
take
that's
advantage.
not fair. That's like Donald Trump. He uses the whole world's
because
resources.
we're using that to help us have a better advantages in spreading Krishna consciousness or living a more simple life and like that. But we wouldn't so foolishly work so hard ourselves. We don't need to waste our time working so hard because human life is meant for a spiritual advancement. It's not meant for working hard like the animals do. Human life's not meant to work hard like the animals. Like I look out at the cows outside, we've got 2 cows. All day long, they're just eating. All day long. Their whole life is just eating.
If the people doesn't think that, they work hard to create the Wi-Fi and all these phones and all that. They really work hard. And then if they think the same way you're thinking, it wouldn't be internet.
It's
And
true.
that's also
No,
good.
for-
No, we
but
can
for
we
me,
can still live. We can still live very happily without that. See, we can use anything in Krishna's service, but we shouldn't depend on anything also. We can continue our service without all these things. In fact, we're planning to do retreats here going forward, and all those retreats, we're not having internet. No internet. Because it takes people's time away from their, meditating and thinking about higher things. They're glued to their device on social media and distracted. So much distractions are there.
but
So
Abhi Prabhu, I saw that about the retreats and I was thinking, oh, I have to call Gail and then maybe we can go. And honestly, truth, when it said, I saw the part about no devices, I paused and I thought, true, because I said, then how am I going to keep track of my boys? What's going on? If they need something, what will happen?
I did say
all
for
these thoughts,
emergencies,
and
it
then
could
I'm
be
like,
used.
I paused it. I mean, although it's still
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, I said, let me
Yeah.
find Gail and see.
Yeah.
I haven't confirmed or haven't made any arrangement, but honestly, that was the thing that I paused.
I know. It's actually a registered disease now. a registered disease called phonobia. Phonobia, Phon, phonobia. That people, they can't function without their phone. Like they go into like withdrawal, like have a fit if their phone doesn't work or it gets stolen or whatever. So this is not good to be too much depending on all these things, especially if it takes too much time away. I mean, like I said, it does have its uses, and like we're using it now to have this talk on Bhagavad Gita. So, but we just thought it'd be an interesting, give people a taste of spending a couple days without the phone and just see.
But
Just try that
Abhi
out.
can
Yeah.
I just ask, for me, right, what comes through for me is, I mean, yes, we don't, you know, fundamentally at a basic level, we don't need much to survive. But I don't know, but for me, I just feel like, you know, that, you know, as spiritual beings, and that Krishna wants us to also realize our potential, what we are capable of, and to not just survive, but to be more than survive, you know, like in terms of like what we were just talking of, you know, the inventions or create whatever that has been invented. This is all part of that realization of our what we are capable of, and what we can do if we want, and we channel our potential to. Yeah.
But see, you got to judge it by the end result, Deepa.
Yeah.
The end result of our channeling and potential and everything is, do we become Krishna conscious and we go back to Godhead? Or at the end of our channeling and potential and everything, we've completely forgotten God. And we see mostly that through all this channeling and potential and everything, then people forget God. That is the criticism that the Guru makes. You know, we don't criticize technology on its own, but what we criticize is that if because of the technology and everything, then you've forgotten God and all this material advancements, modern advancements, and, you know, civilization, everything, and you've gone away from God, then that we criticize that. Why have you forgotten God? If you, through your technology and everything, it helps you find God and understand God, then that's great, you know, give you a pat on the back and clap for that. But mostly we see that people get further and further away from God.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate. They used a lot of technology recently in Venezuela, but what was that for? To remove the president. They cut the power. They cut the power off the whole city of Caracas using satellites. So that's the technology, but what's that for? You know, to create, you know, instability and remove people and for their wars and everything like that. So, you know, did anyone become more Krishna conscious because of all the technology there? No, I don't think so. You know, so you got to judge by the result. You know, as modern society, through all of our advancements in technology, are we getting closer to God? I don't think so. I don't see it. Seems like people are getting further away from God. And if you think with your technology and advancements that you don't need God, because now we have, you know, highly advanced medicine, highly advanced science through science and medicine and computers and robots. Now we don't need God at all, because every time a part fails, you're just going to replace it with a robot part. We'll have a robot arm and a robot leg, and you'll have a robot kidney, and, you know, you'll be what's that?
Then you'll be a robot. That's it.
But then are they going to be Krishna conscious robot? I doubt it.
You know, I was somebody sent me a clip there in Kazakhstan. Like the devotees at Krishna consciousness ISKCON there, and then like, so much cold in the weather. Like, I think when the Prabhupada left, there may be like a 5 million devotee. Now there is a 50 million devotee. It's increasing. It's not declining.
But the
It's
thing,
increasing.
okay, just what we were talking also, this whether the person is becoming more Krishna conscious or not. But like the internet, this fellow who did this Zoom and whatever, I don't know. I don't know
It
him.
increased.
Don't know him personally, but he has facilitated this our forum. This is helping Krishna conscious, isn't it? So
Yeah,
he's
but we have
indirectly helping,
yeah, but we have
Indirectly.
four people, I can count that
But
much,
there's all
on our Krishna
Prabhupada's
Conscious
Zoom,
Forum.
Prabhupada's YouTube, and everything is online, and we can access all around the world.
I
These
believe
are all facilitating it.
the Mark Zuckerberg also devotee, because he invented
That's
Facebook.
right.
So we're not saying anything's good and bad, but it's just how you use it. Is a knife good? Is a knife bad? No, I mean, a knife can save your life if you're a doctor, and a knife can take your life if you're a thief. So it's nothing is good or bad. Money is money good or bad? Money in the hands of a devotee, you could build a temple, you could print Bhagavad Gitas, you could distribute prasadam to 1,000 people. But money could also, you take it to a casino and you completely ruin your life. So it's
In
just
Saudi
how you use it.
Arabia, how many copies has been printed Bhagavad Gita and distributing that in Arabic. And the first time in the life, somebody sent me in the Facebook there, in Saudi Arabia, like I've never been, like, it's like all in Arabic, Bhagavad Gita, like, people are just like, they're just getting like a wildfire there. So it's just like devotees are increasing every day, not only India, all over the world.
I wish my husband had lived to, because I bought him a copy of the Gita in Arabic, but he never, it was just there, it's still there on the stage next to his.
Even the Pakistan as well, their prime minister, they give it a funded to a Bhagavad Gita in the Pakistan language.
Well done.
It's wonderful. It's just going like, very good.
Oh, that is fascinating. Krishna,
but the point is
Krishna
not
wants
to
something, he will have it.
But I mean, we can use anything in Krishna service, but the thing is not to depend on it, So we should be satisfied with what Krishna gives. If Krishna gives me a fancy car to get from A to B, we can use that. Otherwise, if it's just I have to walk on my legs, God has given me legs, then I can use that. So it doesn't mean, am I going to stop doing all my activities if I don't have a fancy car? No, you'll continue one way or another. So the thing is just not to, like it's saying here, whatever he gives us by his grace, we are satisfied with that. If by his grace you're a really rich person, then you're satisfied with that. Thank you. If you're a very poor person by his grace, then you accept that, not that you're not satisfied. If only I was rich, I wish I was rich and then I could do this and that. Or even if you're rich, if I was more rich. Like a reporter asked the richest man in the world some time ago, his name was John Paul Getty, what do you think about when you're all alone?
They want to make more money.
How to make more money. That's not being satisfied. He's already the richest man in the world. Why does he need more money? Of course he doesn't need more money.
He wants to do one more project to help somebody else.
Only one thing you should not be satisfied, which is like a bhakti.
That's right.
Chanting.
So that's
you should not be satisfied.
So materially, it's recommended you should be satisfied, but spiritually, never satisfied.
Never satisfied. Yes.
Because I'll tell you what, if materially you're not satisfied, when you die, do you know what effect that's going to have?
You're going to come back to birth again, and
you have to come back to get what it was that you wanted that you didn't have. You're not satisfied because of you wanted some money, you didn't get it. You have to come back again to make that money. You're not satisfied because the woman you wanted, you didn't get it, or the man or whatever. You have to come back again to get that woman. You're not satisfied because you didn't get that promotion, that job, that position. You have to come back again to get that job, that promotion, that position. So it's that dissatisfaction is the cause of the soul coming back again.
So you reckon Donald Trump will come back 100%?
Oh yeah, of course.
You never know. In his secret time, he might be chanting. I don't know. Who knows?
No.
If it's chanting, he won't do this one. No, devotee don't do these things. If he's a devotee, you don't do these things.
You do.
Either you devotee
So
or you
it's
don't do
actually
it.
that satisfaction is the cause of our liberation, and dissatisfaction is the cause of our repeated birth and death, like that. Krishna's in our heart. He knows what you want. If you don't want anything in this world, all you want is to come back home, back to him and live with him, then he'll fulfill that desire when you die. If in your heart, when you die, you want so many things in this world, well, then, okay, you have it. Come back again. I'll give you this body, that body, this body, that body. You can get this, get that, get this. This is the cause of our coming back again and again. There's a chapter in the Krishna book in the 10th canto about Rukmini. And then Rukmini sends one Brahmana with a message to please Krishna come and rescue me. I'm about to be married to Shishupal, but I don't want to be married to Shishupal. I want to be married to you, Krishna. You come and kidnap me. So that message was sent with a Brahmana. And interesting comes up in the Krishna talking with that Brahmana that he reveals why he loves the Brahmanas so much. Why is Krishna especially favorable to the Brahmanas? And it's mentioned there because a Brahmana is satisfied. This is
not today's Brahmana.
not today's, but a real Brahmana. I mean, there are some real Brahmanas still. A real Brahmana, one of their main qualities is they're satisfied with whatever God provides.
You are the Pakka Brahman. I know that.
No. Yeah.
You are the Pakka Brahman, which is satisfied.
To be satisfied. Like that. You do your work, and whatever you get a result, you're happy with that. And not that you just work more and more and more and more, unlimitedly. Of course, the devotee is prepared to work very hard for Krishna. You can't find anyone that worked harder than Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada slept only maximum 3.5 hours a day. But it's not that he was working so hard for his bodily improvements, but he was working hard to spread Krishna consciousness. So that's an exception, that you can work more harder for spreading Krishna consciousness, but not just for your own bodily needs. That you should draw the line. I've got enough now. I mean, how big is your stomach? How hard do you need to work to fill up that stomach? It's only a handful of rice and dal. It's not a lot of work. But, you know, when you want to have, you know, pantries overflowing with food for the future and everything, then it becomes you have to work harder.
No, you need that aircon, no? That Gulshan is sitting in.
No, you don't need the aircon.
Beautiful. 22
You
degrees,
have to work.
library there.
Otherwise, you have to be smart like Gulshan and not work for the aircon, get someone else's working for the aircon.
That's right. Gamad, you know,
Yeah.
Gamad is there.
As long as you don't have to work extra hard. You know, one time Prabhupada was on a morning walk and they were talking about a disciple that started a job in a factory. And Prabhupada didn't comment. He doesn't have any problem with that, working in a factory. But then the devotee continued to speak further that such and such devotee, he's so tired after coming back from the factory that he's not able to chant 16 rounds. And then Prabhupada immediately reacted. He stopped walking. The devotees behind him nearly crashed into him. He said, what? He's not chanting his 16 rounds? He's an animal. And all the devotees' mouths just fell open. Prabhupada just called his disciple an animal because Prabhupada can see that that's the only thing that's keeping us in Krishna consciousness is our chanting. And even that, you can't do the basic thing to maintain your Krishna consciousness. You're going to go back to material consciousness. And if you go back to material consciousness, which is eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then what are you going to end up? Eventually, your body's going to die. And then after your body dies and you're in material consciousness, what are you going to get in your next life? You're going to become an animal. So Prabhupada can see what is the future, what is the destination. You know, so through knowledge, you can actually understand the future. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
There's a story about there was a man in a tree with a saw and he was cutting the branch. And there was a man on the ground, saw him cutting, and he said, hey, mate, you better stop that or otherwise you're going to be falling on the ground. And he said, no, it's not, I'm not going to fall on the ground. So he kept soaring and he fell on the ground because he was sitting on the wrong side of the branch. And then after he fell on the ground, he said, wow, you
You're a
like can
genius.
see the future. You can see the future. Are you like some astrologer or something? He said, no, mate, you're just sitting on the bloody wrong side of the branch, you dork. Like that. So, it's just common sense, so, according to how you're behaving, it will have certain reactions. It's like a law of nature. There's different laws in the material world. And if you follow them, you'll get one result. And if you don't follow them, you'll get another result. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. So if you're not satisfied, you'll have to come back again. And if you're satisfied, well, then you can coming back to Godhead. So, it's not, you don't have to be a all-knowing past, present, and future astrologer or something, but it's just having this basic knowledge of how things work, in the universe. And that's the beauty. Just by reading Bhagavad Gita, we can become more intelligent than even the greatest scientist, the greatest philosopher, the greatest scholar. Even the most intelligent people in modern society don't even know these most basic principles of life. They're all lining themselves up for a lower birth in their next life, guaranteed lower birth in the next life. Whereas a simple devotee, he might not be rich, he may not be famous, he may not be popular, may not be in the media or whatever like that, but he's coming back to Godhead, for eternal blissful life, full of knowledge, complete stop to suffering, no more birth, old age, disease, and death. So who's more intelligent?
I want that.
Joy.
Everybody
Joy, that's
wants
the most
that.
intelligent thing.
Yes. Yes.
Victory. Joy
Yes.
means victory. That's real victory. It said, what is the real victory? What's the real success? That one time Dasharath, Lord Ram's father, so this is like 2 million years ago, Dasharath was being visited by his guru, Vishvamitra Muni. And when Vishvamitra Muni came into the room, his palace, Dasharath greeted him and questioned him. Puna Janma Jaya. Puna means again. Janma means birth. Jaya means victory. So asking him, are you successful in this cycle of birth and death and stopping this cycle of again another birth? This is real victory, that you don't have to again take birth again. As soon as you have to take birth again, you've lost, mate. You've failed. Real victory, real success is that, well, after the body dies, we can't stop that. But then what you can stop is another birth. That's where you stop the cycle.
And
It's
I
between
don't know
the death
if
of this body.
if it's true that there's a one of the lady come in Vishwamitra life to spoil his whole austerity. Menaka. Yes.
Yeah.
So even Vishwamitra fall down. Who am I and who are you?
Yeah. So the lesson from that story is you better be careful. Don't play with fire.
That's right.
Play
That's
with fire.
That's right. That's right. So
So
anyone
be
can fall.
satisfied with your little van, Gulshan, and
I
in the
am.
in the
No,
library.
I'm looking that people have got a motorhomes and all that, but I bought this van because no debts. Like I don't want to get loan. Whatever saving I got 2007 model. Okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. It doesn't have a toilet. Night time, if I need to go out for a toilet and it's rain, I put the towel on my head, then I just do that. I don't go for a motorhome, has to have a toilet inside or things like that. No.
Complicating your
I'm
life.
satisfied.
No, that's
I'm
intelligent.
satisfied.
That's good.
And just coin laundry, just pay my my clothing to wash it. I need to be clean clothes every day.
Of course. No,
So
this is Brahmana. So yeah, I'm happy. It sounds like you're becoming a properly qualified Brahmana.
No, I'm
Clean,
not Brahmana.
satisfied.
I'm just a common man, but just need to be cleanliness. That's all. Just vacuum my
that's
car.
Brahmana. Brahmana means Suchi.
Yes.
Suchinam. Clean.
Yes. Okay. We read. Okay.
Let's continue. Next one. Tapas.
Okay. Tapas means austerity or penance. There are many rules and regulations in Vedas which applies here, like rising early in the morning and taking bath. Sometimes it is very troublesome to rise early in the morning, but whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are perceptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice such fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunctions. One should not fast for some political purposes. That is described in Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance. And anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one. However, and fasting done in terms of Vedic injunction enriches one in spiritual knowledge.
Very good. Yeah, so tapasya means voluntarily accepting some suffering
Yeah, not
for
like
higher
a
purpose.
not like a hunger strike.
Not like hunger
That's it.
strike.
Yeah,
Like Gandhi was
Yeah.
very famous for fasting, but he did it for
Hunger
political
strike.
purpose. So Prabhupada's saying here that his fasting has
ignorance.
no value. It's just
But
ignorance and leads to suffering.
it changed. It changed that British had left India. He did contribution for the freedom, whether he did that fasting and things like that.
It wasn't for spiritual reasons. It was
wasn't for spiritual reason.
But
you
the results was
see
great.
what is the result of his suffering for freeing Indians?
Yeah.
Are the Indians free from suffering?
Well,
No, Indians are suffering the same as they were before.
Free from
their freedom from the British,
British,
but are they free from old age? Are they free from disease? Are they freedom from death? Are they free from being affected by the wind and the rain and the sun and be losing the job? And are they free from COVID? Are they free from? No, not free. Where is the freedom? There's no. The only freedom is spiritual.
So
the real freedom is spiritual.
You reckon that Gandhi's sacrifice was useless?
No, I don't think. Well,
I don't think so, because if Gandhi wouldn't sacrifice, British are still 100 years in India and torturing.
No, Prabhupada said one thing. He said when the British were one difference was when the British were in control of India, he quoted the price for rice, and it was not much, a few annas. But he said after independence, the price of rice went up. So he just made some little examples to show that it wasn't just all roses. Just because you threw the British out and you have independence, still there was problems. Actually, as soon as the British were kicked out of India, do you know what they did? They created a division, and then we created Pakistan.
Yes.
So they created the hatred between the Hindus and the Muslims, and that was the worst thing. Then Prabhupada said, because he was there at the time,
but the British
Kolkata,
were involved in that.
I know, but if they hadn't tried to get involved with the political stuff, they wouldn't have done that. And then Prabhupada said he saw dead bodies like lining the streets during those days of partition.
What do you want? What do you mean, Prabhupada? My father seen that. My father came from the Pakistan. My mom came from Pakistan. They seen that. My dad was 19 when he came. He seen all the dead bodies. My dad was describing there. It was a bloody war.
And even there was between West Bengal and Bangladesh, it was the same thing, and on the other side,
72
Punjab
Bangladesh got a partition. 72 Bangladesh got a freedom. It was bloody.
Because the British were the ones who drew the border, the boundary, and the British didn't care 2 cents of that. It went right down and split families.
Yeah, so that's the point.
On one side, the children's on the other side.
Yeah, so that's the point Prabhupada's making. If you do anything for a political purpose or any other purpose, it's going to end up in suffering and ignorance. So we should just do our activities and even some difficult things just for a spiritual purpose. And that won't lead to any bad result if you do it for a spiritual purpose. But if you think you're going to do some difficulties for a political purpose, then it's going to backfire. It's not going to end up as a good result.
But then what would have been the alternate if British in India and British did so much of horrible things all
Oh
around the
yes.
world.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
They caused a lot of problems around the world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but nature
I
is going to
wouldn't
take care
want
of
the
that.
British to be still in India.
No, but
India
you,
needed to take care of its own problems, and they did.
Yes.
So they are doing it now.
yeah,
But
but by
I don't think it would.
karma itself will take care of anything. As soon as you disobey the laws of karma and you do the wrong thing, you're going to suffer. And we see now British is like nothing. Well, what's left of Britain is like nothing, just a little island, and they're having so many problems. So if someone misbehaves, then definitely they're going to
Payback.
have to face that. Yeah. But what you can do is every country's, if we follow Krishna's system of four varnas, one of the varnas is Kshatriya, and Kshatriya is supposed to protect the people. So that should be there. You have the Kshatriyas to protect the people. If someone's coming to attack you, then the Kshatriyas are there to protect you. So that is part of Krishna's system, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, more than that, there's no need to do more than that. So let the Kshatriyas give protection. And the problem is now we don't have proper Kshatriyas, and this is the problem. But this is, the result of Kali Yuga. We're not following Krishna's system. Everyone wants to be Sudras and just make money. Now, if you have a war, everyone's going to run away. And that's the problem they have, like in Ukraine and Russia and whatever. The soldiers just run away. They don't want to fight, like that. So this is the problem. Like that. Prabhupada sent a letter to Gandhi just before he died and said, you are a very respected personality. And people will follow what you say. You should just become a preacher of Bhagavad Gita. And he said, this will do good for you and it'll do good for everyone. And he said, you should get out of politics. He said, if you don't get out of politics, you'll have a very bad end. He never heard back from Gandhi, but all that happened is within a month or so, then he was shot dead. And Prabhupada said that no one can say that Gandhi didn't do who can do more greater service than Gandhi for his country? And yet, what was the result of his great service? That his own countrymen shot him. So Prabhupada just pointing out, it doesn't matter what service you do in the material world, it's not going to have a good outcome. You're not going to be respected. You're not going to get any good result out of that. It's going to end in your destruction and death and everything like that. So, but if you do even a little bit of service for Krishna, even you chant Krishna's name once, he's going to take you back home, back to Godhead. So the point is spiritually, you do a little bit and you get such a big result. If you take prasadam once in your life, it guarantees you get a human form of life in your next life. If you chant Hare Krishna once, it guarantees in the next few lifetimes at the most, you're going back home, back to Godhead. But if you do so many fasting and austerities and give your life for your country and your politics and everything, all you're going to end up is in a coffin or burnt to ashes and take birth again like that. So, Prabhupada said, an astrologer said that Nehru was the first prime minister after independence, right? Prabhupada said, and a big astrologer said that when Nehru died, he took birth as a dog in Scandinavia.
I'm not fully agree with that. Only Krishna knows who's going to get a rebirth. How can that?
No, astrologers know. Astrologers can
They
tell.
can tell. There are
Yeah, of course, a
astrologers
good
who
astrologer.
can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they think they're above Krishna?
No,
No,
not to tell
but
in
they're
the
following Krishna's
future, but
science.
it is in
They're following
hindsight.
Krishna's science.
He say that
Nobody
this
is equal to Krishna. Not above. Equal is not possible. You talk about they're
no.
equal to Krishna.
If you go
No,
and
I'm not
see,
saying equal to Krishna, but if you follow Krishna's science, you can get certain knowledge. You can get certain. That's not a spiritual thing. That's just a material art. To work out
to
the
learn the
past and the
things.
present, the future, like that. And There's even I think Bhrigu Samhita it's called, which has got the future of everyone written in that Bhrigu Samhita. If you
Mm.
go there to South India, they can open up the book and tell you, what you were in your past life and what you're going to be in
Mm.
your next life.
There's also the
You know.
leaf, reading of the leaf or something they have. I don't know what, I mean, I've heard of it, but yeah.
Mm.
Um,
So the point is, if you just you're putting your heart and soul into some material objective, it's not going to work out good. Because how is the material energy Maya set up? Maya is set up, I'll tell you very plainly, it's set up to punish souls that don't want to surrender to God.
Prabhu, I just asked one
Yep.
question. How do you explain or this, I mean, like, Jesus and how he was set on the cross and all this, how is that explained, from because he was doing God's work and all that, I mean, yeah.
That tells you what the nature of the material world is, that people are jealous and envious.
Mm,
And if you go around preaching God's message that you should
mm,
surrender to God and love God, materialistic demons are not going to like that. So there's always clashes between materialistic demons and devotees. I mean, you have
mm,
even on the universal scale, forget about the earth, you have the demigods and the demons. We call them devas and asuras. So there's
mm-hmm,
always clashes between the devas and asuras. It always has been, it is now, and always will be. So you always get fighting between Indra and the demigods and the demons headed by whoever it is at the time.
mm,
And even on the earth, you have the demigod, which is like devotees, against the asuras. They're like the materialistic demons, and they're always conflict like that. I
And
mean,
both are
every
Krishna's
single
energy. Both are
even
Krishna's
Prahlad
energy.
Maharaj, right? Prahlad was a
Yeah.
devotee, his father's a demon, and there's a big fight, right? And who won though? The devotee. The Pandavas, they're devotees. The other sides of the family, they're demons.
Demons.
Dhritarashtra, Dronacharya, Duryodhana, I mean, they're asuras. So there's a clash between the devotees and the non-devotees. And even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada's guru, there was even the demoniac Brahmins tried to kill Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. There was even people would want to kill Prabhupada. The
mm,
Haridas Thakur we know in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. He was born a Muslim, and the Muslims tried to kill him why? Because he'd become a so-called Hindu.
mm,
Because he'd become a Muslim from a Hindu, they tried to kill him. They whipped him and caned him in the marketplaces and so forth like that. So this is normal. We should expect that. That's that's an austerity for the devotee who's preaching. He's going to come across some backlash. There's going to Demons are going to be disturbed, and it'll create problems. And Prabhupada faced problems. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati faced problems. Haridas Thakur, Jesus, and they accept that and they tolerate that. Like Jesus said on the cross, "Please forgive them, Father. They
but they
don't for
don't
their
know what.
sins. They don't know what they've done." Like that. And Haridas Thakur say the same thing. Pray to the Lord, please don't punish these people for what they've done to me, like that.
Mm,
And yeah, that's expected. And the
mm,
devotee has to tolerate that, and that's why is the devotee that preaches the glories of the Lord so dear to the Lord, more dear to the Lord than any other devotee? The devotee that preaches the message of the Lord is most dear to the Lord because he takes the most risk. He takes the risk. What's the risk? When you face the demons, they might, try to hurt you in some way. So that's a risk. You're risking your life, to serve Krishna. And you become very dear to Krishna because you're taking the greatest risk. You're sitting at home very peacefully chanting Hare Krishna, having Mahaprasadam. There's not so much risk. So you're not as dear as that devotee that goes out traveling the world, risking life and limb to spread the Lord's glories amongst people that don't really want to hear it. That person is more dear to Krishna like that. Because on that level of how much risk you are taking, how much austerity you're doing. So yeah, we're taking on some difficulty, but the real point is, why are you taking on the difficulty? Everyone is taking on difficulty. You want to do a PhD, you're going to take on difficulty because you can't sleep or eat before exams. You know, a lot of tapasya. You want to be the CEO of an organization. You want to be the run a franchise of Gloria Jeans. You have to take a lot of austerity, isn't it? Gulshan had to go there 7 days a week, early morning, leave late in the evening, can't eat properly, just has to eat fast food and drink coffee. And you know,
that's why I
so
ended
much
with John
austerity.
Hunter, and you came. You are the witness.
Nearly blew up his body, you know, because
Yeah.
of all the austerities like that. And you know, so everyone is doing that, but you know, there's no good result out of those austerities. But you look at recently, right? The biggest assembly of people on the earth, Kumbh Mela, they walked or in lines or queued up in cars or trains, or they came from the Himalayas, thousands of kilometers. Why? To take bath at this auspicious time. Why? To get moksha, to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is a spiritual austerity. That is the real reason why we should do something tough for our spiritual advancement. So that is recommended, is what we should do the tapasya for. You know, like it said, fast for Krishna's pleasure, not for some, you know, health reason or political reason, but do it to serve God like that. It's clear, isn't it? And we had a person, a Kiwi came here today. A Kiwi, she's probably about, I don't know, in her late 60s. She went to India. Why? She wanted to go to Kumbh Mela. She wanted to herself go there like that. And actually, she made it there. She made it to Vrindavan, but she didn't make it to Kumbh Mela. But I said, don't worry about that you didn't make it there. Krishna knows you wanted to go to Kumbh Mela and take bath there. But you're already successful just because you desired to go there and do that seva like that. And anyway, you're in Vrindavan. It's the best place. This is the ultimate place. So there was no problem that you didn't make it to Kumbh Mela. All the benefits of Kumbh Mela are in Vrindavan plus more like that. Devotees are more than, if you go to Kumbh Mela, you'll be liberated. In Vrindavan, you're more than liberated. You get bhakti, you get pure love for Krishna. So like that. But just see, you know, how attractive it is. You know, we should want to do some difficult things for our spiritual advancement, not for material advancement. Material advancement, you want to know what material advancement is? What are we advancing towards materially? It's called death. That's material advancement. What are we materially? What is everything in the material world heading towards? Death.
Well, it's
But
well, the
that's
spiritual
an
world, we are headed to
inevitable.
death. And
People say,
inevitable.
that's a very negative way to look at the material world. But
No,
that's the
Whichever,
fact.
even
Sorry, I
spiritual,
can't change
yeah.
the way it's set up.
I mean, it's in the spiritual world also you're towards the death anyway.
What's that?
Anyway.
Spiritual world? No, that's the difference. Spiritual, there's no death.
It's like you're going towards the end of the body anyway. So I mean,
No,
so
that's
whether
in the
you get a
material world. But what do you mean spiritual world? What are you saying?
I mean,
Spiritual world?
whether you get a moksha or not, you don't know that, but you're going towards the death anyway, whether you're spiritual or you're material or you are anyone.
No, a devotee's death is not an ordinary death. Death means you're changed from one body to another physical body. But a devotee's death is not going to be changed to another physical body. So
But we
that's not
don't
a
know
death.
that. But we don't know that. We could still be coming. I know,
We're just
but I don't.
hoping.
You know, a devotee is very humble, and very humble thinking we're not. But
Same time we're thinking, we are.
Prabhupada said that I guarantee anyone that chants 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna every day, follows the 4 regulated principles, no meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling, I guarantee at the end of their life, they're going to go back home, back to Godhead. You know, so, you know, if you follow Krishna's instruction, the Guru's instruction, then you can. But like I said, even a little bit of chanting, or even if you don't chant 16 rounds, even a little bit still, mate, your next life is going to be awesome. You're going to, minimum, you're going to be in the heavenly planets. Minimum, you're going to be in the heavenly planets.
But you
Or at
said,
least
but
you're going to be a
didn't,
human being somewhere.
but you say even the demigods want to have a material body because this is the platform on which they can transcend and return
Not
back.
a material body. They want to have a human body on earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is the time that in Kali Yuga, if you just chant Hare Krishna, you can go back to Godhead. So it's like a get out of jail free card. Like Monopoly, right? They have get out of jail free. So it's like a free card almost to get out of the
So
material world.
human body, that's material, isn't it?
I know, but it's not just, the value is not in the material body. The value is being on this particular planet at
Yeah,
this particular time
yeah,
in this particular Kali Yuga, because we have Lord Chaitanya was here 500 years
yeah.
ago, and he gave you a get out of jail free card that you chant Hare Krishna, you can go back to Godhead. And this is the best place, the best time. That's why the demigods want to come here like
Get
that.
out of jail free.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
get out of jail free like that. So yeah, very fortunate. Very fortunate. Hey, we've got a few more minutes. Let's just read a little bit more.
Yeah, okay.
Let's finish this purport. Does anyone else want to read? As far as charity?
Roshan, you read. Oh, Bhakti Malaka. No.
As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earning to some good cause. And what is good cause? It is which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness. This is not only a good cause, but the best cause, because Krishna is good. His cause is also good. This charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to the Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to Brahmanas. This practice is still followed, although not very nicely in terms of Vedic injunctions, but still the injunction is that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmana is supposed to devote his whole life to understand Brahman. Brahman Janati Brahmanam. One who knows Brahmana is called Brahmana. Thus, charity is offered to a Brahmana because they are always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literature, charity is also to be awarded to one in the renounced order of life, the sannyasi. The sannyasi beg for door to door, not for money, but for missionary purposes. The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the household from the slumber of ignorance, because the householders are engaged in a family affair and have forgotten their actual purpose in life. Awakening their Krishna consciousness, it is the business of sannyasi to go as a beggar to the householders and encourage them to be a Krishna conscious. As it is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due him in this human form of life. This knowledge and method is distributed by the sannyasi. Hence, charity is to be given to renouncer of life, to the brahmanas, and similar good cause, not to any whimsical cause. But yasa, what's this called? What's the word called?
Yashas.
Yes.
Yasha.
Yashas.
Yash, like a fame, should
Yes.
be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and it is known, then he is truly famous. One does not have such fame in infamous. You want to continue? All these
Yep. Yeah,
sorry,
sure, finish.
all these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society and in the society of demigods. There are many forms of humanity and on other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops them himself from within. One who engage in devotion service of the Supreme Lord develop all the good qualities as arranged by Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find, good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we have that things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna.
Right. Thank you, Goshan.
Right?
So yeah, one very important point is if we can become Krishna conscious, then automatically all these good qualities mentioned will develop in us. So we should endeavor mainly for Krishna consciousness, knowing that by becoming Krishna conscious means Krishna's with us. I heard Prabhupada say it today. When you chant God's names, God is with you, and you're going to become purified by associating with God. And as you become purified by God being with you, then naturally all these godly qualities will develop, like cleanliness and tolerance and enthusiasm and satisfaction and all these kind of things mentioned will automatically come if we can become God conscious. And also we should know that we should know what these good qualities are, and then side by side you try to cultivate them, because you know that God wants me to be satisfied, so let me try to be satisfied. So you've got two things happening side by side, that you trying to be Krishna conscious and having faith that Krishna is going to purify me and help me develop good qualities, and also on your side you make an effort that these things please Krishna. Let me do those things. He wants me to be clean. Let me be clean. He wants me to be tolerant. Let me be tolerant. And he doesn't want me to be proud and arrogant, and he doesn't want me to be dirty and everything like that. So let me avoid those things. So you got two things going on. God's trying to help us, bring us up, and we also trying our best to make progress like that. And then if we combine those two things, then onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. Victory.
Yes.
Victory. And the final verse of Bhagavad Gita, we can just read that. It's 1878. The very last verse. And read that.
I don't want to read that because otherwise my class will be finished here. You're not going to be give class anymore because the last verse you read.
The last verse, yeah. Okay, ladies, one of the ladies can read it then.
Well, Krishna is the only man, and the lady too. Whatever there is a Krishna, the master of all mystic, and wherever there is a Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
Joy.
Yes.
So yeah, we just got to bring Krishna and Krishna's devotees into our life, and everything will be auspicious.
In place. Everything will be in place.
Yeah, everything will be good. And I've seen that, just by becoming Krishna conscious, wonderful things happen. Wonderful things happen. And even some things seem really bad at the time, but then you realize later on, actually, that wasn't bad. That was also Krishna's mercy.
Yeah.
You could say some bad things happened for me in New Zealand, but that pushed me to go to Australia. And then I met all of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have met you all. And we wouldn't have set up the
back to New Zealand.
Yeah, and then other good things have happened. So I still have you as my friends, but then some more things have happening like that. So You know, nothing bad. There's nothing, like I was saying here, you know, even these bad qualities, as mentioned, like bad things, also come from Krishna. But when you're Krishna conscious, you realize that ultimately nothing's bad. Even we say this is bad, but it's actually not bad because that's coming from Krishna.
If come from Krishna, how can it be bad?
That's right. So it's only our forgetting Krishna that causes it to be bad like that.
No, there's always a reason why things are happening. How highest soul evolution. So
Yeah.
everything is happening for that reason.
Yeah.
That purpose.
And we're never necessarily going to know what that reason is, why it's happening, but we don't have to know why. All we have to know is that Krishna's in control and Krishna knows best, and he's our friend and he loves us and he wants the best for us and he's trying to help us. That's all we have to have faith in, that principle that Krishna's in control. We're just like a little puppet in his hands.
That's why Krishna didn't give me BMW. He knows.
Yes.
No, the
Goshan would have
BMW that we had
never
also,
see him
that
again.
one gone. They picked up and went, scrap fellow. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted, but just a quick question. It was just something that came up in my conversation earlier today in the practicum. Because I mentioned I am actually speaking on the 15th in this interfaith forum that's happening on the 15th of this
You
next
mentioned
week.
last time, yep.
So anyway, so for that reason, I actually did a little bit of a practice session this morning with my practicum group. And then there was just something that came up, and I just wanted to get your perspective or your because one of the participants, she kind of said, she asked a question or she commented about consciousness. And I explained it a little bit about, I said, okay, that's very interesting that you bring that up. And I said, this consciousness is something that we as humans have, as in we have that we can choose, we can make decisions. Okay, that's the consciousness that we have, that are not necessarily there for like animals that have a soul.
No, not
Is
at
that
all.
true?
No, it's in the animals too.
So I was wrong.
Yeah.
Animals have a consciousness too. Okay.
It's not about decisions, that's intelligence. So if you're talking about making decisions, that's intelligence. But consciousness is different than intelligence. Consciousness is the awareness of pleasure and pain. And animals, of course, feel pleasure and pain.
They do have. All right, cool.
Even it's scientifically proven that plants feel pleasure and pain. And fish and the birds, everything feels pleasure and pain.
Okay,
consciousness, what is
between
consciousness?
Intelligence and consciousness. Okay,
Yeah, human being has a more intelligence in terms of we can determine what's right and wrong and all that. And of course, animals can't do that. They just have instinct, right? They don't work on intelligence. They work on instinct.
Okay.
If you're a tiger and you come in front of the tiger and he's hungry, he's going to eat you. He's not going to think, is it right for me to eat Gulshan Deep or not?
No.
He's just going to eat you like that. So, but consciousness is an awareness of pleasure and pain. And consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Just like symptom of the soul. And it pervades the whole body. The whole body is from the tip of your toe to the top of your head is pervaded by consciousness, right? That means if you put a pin in your toe, you're going to feel it. If you put a pin in your head, you're going to feel it. So just example is how if you're not outside and you can't see the sun in the sky, but how do you know the sun is there?
Intelligence.
You can't see the sun, right? You can't see the sun, but how can you still know the sun is there even without seeing the sun?
Say
Feel the heat.
intelligence.
Heat.
Heat
Sunlight.
is one, and light, heat and light. So just like the symptom of the sun's presence is heat and light. So the symptom that the soul is there is consciousness. I can't see the soul. I can't see the soul, but I know the soul is there because consciousness is there. Because matter doesn't have consciousness.
Okay.
I can hit the table I'm leaning on with a hammer and it's not going to go, ow. But I can hit my hand with a hammer and you'll immediately get a big reaction like that. So we know the soul is present if consciousness is there. That is the symptom. Just like we know the sun is there without even seeing the sun, if we can see the light. So I can see the light, but I can't see the sun. So even though I can't see the soul, but if I can perceive consciousness. That's obvious. If you're feeling pain, you're feeling pleasure, that your consciousness is there. So that's a sign that the soul is there, because matter doesn't have consciousness.
No,
right?
thanks for that. No, that was yes, it was my practice session. Thanks for that. No, that's good.
And that's the main difference between a dead body and a living body. The dead body doesn't have consciousness, and the
But
living body
that's
has
the
consciousness.
soul.
So that means the soul's left.
Yeah.
So that's how you know also the soul's not there.
Is a symptom.
The soul's not there if there's no more consciousness. Like I can hack up the dead body with a machete and there's not going to be any crying and screaming. But if you put a machete on a living one, you'll get an immediate reaction. So you can immediately understand whether the soul's there or not there due to consciousness.
No, okay. Yep. Thanks for that clarification. That's
Like
good.
the visitor today stood on my dog's foot. And immediately the dog went, ah! It stood on his foot like that. So, we know there's a soul within the dog.
Well, you got two options. Either you say to the visitor not to step on the dog, or second option, buy the shoes for the dog.
Yeah, so consciousness pervades the whole body, just like the light pervades the whole universe. The sun is in one place, but the light is everywhere. So the soul is in one place, is in the heart, but the consciousness is everywhere within the body.
Yep. No,
and just like we have the universal consciousness, which is the Brahman, and then there's the universal soul, and that's Krishna. So that's like we have a small scale, you have a soul within this body with consciousness, and also you have the universal soul with universal consciousness. It's just like I'm conscious of the pleasure and pain in my body, but I'm not conscious of the pleasure and pain of your body, and vice versa. But Krishna is conscious of the pleasure and pain in everyone's body. Yeah, he's the universal soul, like that. Call that the Vishvarupa.
Wow. Yeah.
Like that.
No, that's good. Thanks. Yep.
You're welcome. Well, lovely to catch up with you all again.
Thank you.
Same here.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thanks
Take
for your
care.
time.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.